Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all able to hear me now. Welcome to this special AMA Ask Me Anything session that is available for Mojo members only. If you aren't a member, well, please sign up right away to be able to talk to me directly, to ask our guests, our interviewees, our panelists questions directly, and also get a chance to be published both on our video platform as well as our website. Now, I'm smiling right now, but I can tell you this that a few days ago, I was devastated along with the rest of my team. As many of you may have heard, the Mojo Story platform was hacked. And for a moment, it looked like we would actually lose all of the content that we had. And by all of the content, I mean literally every single ground report that we've done, every single interview that we've done, every single podcast that we've done, all the work that we did during the COVID pandemic, all of it was gone. And what was left was an image and a video of Elon Musk that was staring at us. And there was a live stream of Elon Musk. And, I can laugh about it today, but I can tell you when it happened, it was absolutely heartbreaking. And for us, it looked like, we'd have to start all over again and we'd lost everything that we'd built. Anyway, a lot of you may be wondering how the hell did this happen? So very briefly, we did have two-factor authentication. A lot of comments and questions I've got have asked, did you have 2FA? Were you careless? Did you not have 2FA? We did have 2FA. But phishing emails make it possible to bypass 2FA. And of course, we're working very hard to for this to never happen again, building layers of security around our platform. We still don't know what the aim of the hackers was. Was it to intimidate us? Was it to, was it commercial? Was it to sell our footage? We don't know. With the help of YouTube and the Google team, we were, that's the good news, able to get all of our content back. And so it's been a big sigh of relief for us. I'm now ready to take your questions. Remember, this is an AMA and you can ask me anything. Amitav Dash has a question. How do you rate the Modi government's 9 years accomplishments? And Amitav, if I can look at the complete question, if I can ask my producers to put it in our private chat, I can see that it's a lot longer. And you've asked me to basically pass a verdict on the Modi government in like 100 different categories, everything from foreign policy to COVID management to inflation and the economy. Let me attempt an answer. My answer would be that I think there are spaces in which the government has actually performed exceedingly well. Infrastructure, the one thing that actually leaps out for anyone who's doing a road journey these days, Delhi to Jaipur, for example, if you've done one recently, is the quality of the roads and highways. Now, of course, these, in India, everything is a long continuum and you can't isolate one or the other party for necessary isolated credit. But I definitely think that in the 9 years of the Modi government, we have seen a marked improvement in infrastructure, especially when it comes to A, the state of expressways and roadways, B, when it comes to the state of, airports, most of them privatized. You travel abroad. I was in New York recently and I'm going to New York again this weekend, and you land at JFK and it's a hell of a lot. You're standing in line for 4 hours just to get immigration to clear your passport. And, pretty much any airport in one of the metropolitan cities of India is a dream by contrast. So I would say infrastructure is for me top of the charts in terms of the Modi government's achievements. Also, I would say using digital technology to deliver last mile sort of welfare schemes, I think is another big achievement, right? Whether it is direct cash benefits, whether it is access to ration, especially during the COVID pandemic. I would count this as among the sort of the top two sort of achievements of the Modi government. On the downside, I continue to be concerned about the inclusive sort of approach to our religious minorities. There are any number of people affiliated to the BJP that make anti-Muslim comments. There is an othering of the Indian Muslim that is of concern to me. It is of concern to me that there is not today a single elected Muslim member of the BJP in parliament. So that's my top concern. So I've given you my top two achievements and my top concern. And I would like to see how the outreach, especially with the Pasmanda Muslims, works out. I would like to study more closely the outreach with Muslims in Uttar Pradesh in the local elections, where tickets were indeed given to Muslim candidates, something the BJP has not always done. Sorry, but that's all the time I have to answer that question. I'm moving on now to the next question. We have Sharat. Am I saying your name correctly? It's Sharat Ahuja. Yes, Sharat Ahuja. As of 2018, the amount of black money stashed away abroad by Indians was $4 trillion US. Who will bring it back and when? I'm afraid I am not the expert to answer this question. We have had the black money debate being part of our politics since the Bofors and the Swiss bank debates of the 1980s, 1990s, and in 2023 we're still debating this. Demonetization was meant to be one route to curb the cash economy. I think fintech has changed a lot. I think fintech has changed a lot in terms of the fact that people are now, from your vegetable vendor to an upper middle class Indian, everybody is now using things like UPI. But I'm not convinced that this takes away from the sort of underbelly of illegal cash being used for transactions. And Sharat, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm really not an expert at this subject. And I think one of the problems in journalism is that everybody claims to be an expert at everything and have answers for everything. So I'm going to just have to give you my observations and pass that question. Saurav Bose says, will Sachin Pilot form a new party? $1 million question. As we speak, Mr. Pilot is holding a prayer meeting in memory of his father, Rajesh Pilot. It's something he told me he does every year. He said to me when I tried to ask him whether he will break away, that the prayer meeting should not be confused with something political. That said, everybody and their aunt knows that Sachin Pilot is looking to either be made the head of the campaign committee in the Congress for the Congress ahead of the Rajasthan Assembly elections, or the PCC president, the state Congress president, or he's considering breaking away. But the fact is that Mr. Pilot's options are also limited at a time when the election is widely seen to be leaning in favor of the BJP. Rajasthan has a kind of revolving door politics, and that's usually how the trend unfolds. But to be fair to Sachin, Sachin Pilot should have been made chief minister the last time the Congress won. He was seen, there was a lot of widespread support for him on the ground, and he wasn't given the post then. So the party does need to compensate him in some way. The BJP also has leadership problems of its own. Vasundhara Raje Scindia is widely hailed to be the BJP's most popular face in the Congress party, in the BJP in Rajasthan, but the BJP did not even make Vasundhara the leader of the opposition when the BJP lost the elections in 2018. Instead, that role was given to Satish Punia, who was a first-time legislator. So the BJP central leadership has not been very, very fond of Vasundhara Raje Scindia, and it will be very interesting to see, conspiracy theorists say Ashok Gehlot and Vasundhara Raje could reach some tactical understanding. So let's see if that happens. But to answer your question, I think Sachin will wait to see whether he's given a key role in the state elections. And if not, he has been in touch with Prashant Kishore's former aides. And I think he might be looking to, I don't know, it's a now or never moment for him. How do you take care of your fitness and health? I don't. I should, but I don't. We have crazy hours as journalists, Amar, and I don't sleep. Mostly nights are the only time that I get some me time, alone time, and I binge watch a lot of espionage and murder mystery sort of books and serials. And I think as I grow older, I've started getting up early, and then my mind is constantly wired and thinking ahead to the next story and the next interesting project we should work on. I do have a personal trainer. His name is Prince. And he is supposed to, meet me 3 times a week, but then I travel a lot. And so sometimes we do these bulk classes, 5 classes in a week, and then I go away, like I'm going away today for 2 weeks. So yeah, I should be doing a lot more, Amar, and I'm not. Karan says panelists are now punching blows inside a newsroom. Where do you think broadcast media is headed in India? This allows me a chance as a former TV person to do a big plug for our platform. I think TV news has been headed down the tube for a while. It's now reached gutter level sort of indignity. There's no other phrase that I can use for it. It is full of sycophancy, and if that, or it is, I think in general, as you all know, I believe the problem with the Indian media, especially the broadcast, the visual media, is that people are either chamcha ya morcha, which is they're either supplicants to power or complete activists. And here at Mojo Story, we pride ourselves uh, that we are neither. We are neither chamcha nor morcha. But TV news in particular has seen a slow, what started as a slow demise that has now, frankly, become a race to the bottom. And if talking heads replacing reportage were not bad enough, if hate mongering were not bad enough, we now see sort of these over theatrical, performative moments on television programs like the punching blows reference that you referred to. I saw that one too, though I have to say I don't switch on television at all anymore. And the only television I see and have seen in the last few years is the clips I catch online. And I just want to say one thing. A lot of you complain so much about the state of TV news, but you continue to watch it. Maybe you watch it in morbid fascination. Maybe you watch it because you want to be entertained. Maybe it's like, पहले रेडियो होता था, अब किसी ज़माने में you're eating your food और रेडियो चल रहा है पीछे background में. Now a lot of people watch TV that way. But I just want to say that for every time you turn on your set or even your computer to a channel you don't actually respect, you're giving them an eyeball. And when you give them an eyeball, they take that eyeball to the advertiser and they say, we have this TRP. And so while TV is accused of chasing TRPs, have you ever considered what a TRP is? It's a television rating point. It's all of you. So please, remote control, literally exercise control using your remote. Turn away from those practitioners and those people who you think are bringing indignity, who have made a farce out of journalism. The other problem I think a lot of us are facing who were schooled in kind of classic journalism is what do you do in a polarized country, in a polarized world? Every day we are told that if we followed an extreme, if we were right wing or left wing, if we raised our hands and chose a camp, more people would watch us because people come, we're told, to content looking for confirmation bias. You want to be reaffirmed of your own view. Well, I'm sorry, but we can't do that. It's not that we don't take stands. We take stands on issues that we feel very strongly about. We feel very strongly about what's happened to wrestlers, for example, the women wrestlers, and we have reported consistently. One of our most recent stories is an interview I did with Jagbir Singh, who's an international referee, who actually testifies that he saw as far back as 2013 Brij Bhushan Singh drunk and groping women athletes. So we have a position on that story. We had a position on the release of the rapist of Bilkis Bano. We had a position on what happened in Bihar with Anand Mohan, a well-known dreaded gangster under the Nitish Kumar government. We have positions on individual stories, but we refuse. We absolutely refuse to align ourselves with an ideological sort of camp because we don't believe that that is the role of a journalist, and we believe who we vote for cannot influence what we show, and that we have to be even-handed in the approach that we take. So Priya, who writes her tweets, is spot on like your op-eds. I write my own tweets. I have always written my own tweets. There are only, Supriya, a handful of moments when my Twitter is not in my control. And that is when, for example, I'm on stage, let's say, on a 12-hour long ground event that we're doing, like We the Women. And at that point, my producers may have control of my Twitter feed, or on counting day when my Twitter handle will be used for updates. But at every other moment, everything you see, Supriya, from my Twitter handle is my own. Is India fighting the West on their own battleground, says Jayesh? We have a very interesting discussion that we had, I think, on Friday, where we asked the question, why is India taking its political battles outside of India? I actually don't get it. I don't understand why Rahul Gandhi has to make a large point about Indian democracy outside India, and why before that Prime Minister Modi in 2015 said that there was a time when people were ashamed of being Indian. They were ashamed of their passport, and today they have they're very proud of their passport. I actually remember that in 1970s, I think it was 1977, Indira Gandhi led a major rally in where she talked about foreign critics. So when we talk about today the BJP, which is very good and smart about actually otherizing the idea of anyone who goes outside of India and talks about India. Actually, it was Indira Gandhi who came up with the idea of the foreign hand and the idea of the foreign critic as the enemy. It was Indira Gandhi who first blocked the BBC for 2 years because the BBC made a documentary that she believed was showing India in a poor light. And today, in many ways, the BJP has borrowed from the BJP under Narendra Modi has borrowed, in my opinion, from the Indira Gandhi playbook. But I am told that, and I can see the merit in that in many ways, the diaspora factor, the global image building, has a sort of filtering effect on what happens in domestic politics. So, for example, if you're somebody who lives in India, but your daughter studies in New York, and your daughter has a certain view of, let's say, either Rahul Gandhi or Narendra Modi, and your daughter forms that view as an Indian American living in New York, she is likely to bring some of that back home to you and influence your voting choices. So I think the globalized age where we're all interconnected is here, and maybe the old style thinking about what is domestic and what is global has changed. Anirudh, how would you define your journey with Mojo Story? How is it different from TV? Thanks, Anirudh, for that question. I think I remain a visual storyteller. We are essentially video publishers. Most digital platforms in India, independent digital platforms, started with a text website and then added video. We have had a very different journey. We identified ourselves to be essentially visual storytellers. And so we began with this YouTube platform, and we now have added our website, mojostory.com, to check it out if you haven't. So to that extent, what hasn't changed is my desire to use visuals and the power of the image and the power of the stories of human beings, the humans behind the headlines, to place people first. That's always been the storytelling I've believed in, and that continues to be the same. What has changed, of course, are three things. One, TV news is, sorry to say, rubbish. Two, technology has allowed us to disrupt TV and the resources needed to put out a program. So, for example, when I was in NDTV, I used to have a 15-member team that used to produce my primetime show. And today, my primetime show, which streams live every evening, Bottom Line with Barkha at 5 p.m., is done with 2 people. It could even be done with one person. And I promise you, it's produced professionally. It has pictures, graphics, banners, everything that you're used to seeing on television. And we do it with 2 people because technology has allowed us to do that. That said, I'm not going to lie. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. It's not easy having to do everything on your own. And I always say, when people say, what's the lesson that you'd share? I always say that no job should be too small for you to do yourself. Right. So whether it's writing the banners that you see on the screen, whether it's learning how to edit, whether it's learning how to shoot, whether it's researching, whether it's raising money, whether it's picking up the equipment and folding it and putting it back. I think when you start afresh, you realize that you should show as a leader and not tell. And if you demonstrate by action, those will speak louder than words. There have been some really horrible moments, like earlier this week when we got hacked, like sometimes when you see journalism not being rewarded but opinion being rewarded over journalism. So we send colleagues or ourselves into the field, and then we'll see some young person sitting behind the table expressing an opinion, never moving out of their studios or their homes, getting more views than us. And it's easy to be demoralized, but honestly, my view of it is, is that you have to keep adapting to new ways of storytelling. You can't be above, you can't consider yourself so snooty to be above any medium. So TikTok is banned in India, but if it's ever lifted, I do plan to join TikTok. I joined Instagram belatedly. Earlier I used to think it's a fluffy vapid medium, and then I understood the medium is what you make of it. But there are different audiences on every medium, and you have to embrace new mediums, you have to embrace new technologies, and you have to embrace new audiences, Anirudh. So we are on this Ask Me Anything, and many of you have asked very interesting questions. You may also be wondering, what is this Mojo membership all about? What are we planning to paywall material? So the short answer is no, we're not. Our material, our content will continue to be accessible for everybody without your having to pay for it. But there are certain things that we will allow our members to do, perks, if you will. For example, converse with me directly, ask me anything, nothing is off limits. You will also have a chance to place your questions every evening on our live streams on Ask Me Any, on Bottom Line with Barkha directly to our guests. You will be able to send in questions in advance for the guests we get on our podcast. We will have soon we'll be starting in-person meetups in different cities of India, and we hope to see many of you at our Mojo members meetups. You will have a chance to be published on our website. You will have a chance to send in video ideas, citizen-generated content for our platform. And why are we doing this? We're doing this because something that doesn't get spoken about enough is how revenue is at the heart of whether the media you get, the content you consume is independent or not. Right now, although advertising is moving from the world of TV to the digital world, it's moving slowly. For us to be able to hold on to the values we believe in and give you the quality that you're used to and get better and better at what we do, we also need your support. We need your support. We need you to spend less than you would on one Starbucks coffee a month to support me and my team if this is content that you actually like. And um, and I think you can do that, right? I think you can do that because it's about 160 rupees, less than that, to become a Mojo member on YouTube. We have different subscription plans for a combined sort of website and YouTube approach, and we will be sort of rolling all of those features out one by one. Okay, so I think it's about lunchtime on Sunday. I'm not sure. I'm waiting for my producers to confirm if we have any more questions. And if you have any questions, okay, I'm told that we're out of questions for now. Thank you for those of you who sent in your questions. Those of you who joined in on this live stream, we'll make it a point to make this a regular feature. Pass the word, spread the word, become a Mojo member, keep supporting the content, the storytelling that you like. Thank you and have a great Sunday.